I'd like to call this meeting to order, and I know that normally we start going through our agenda, but I'd just like to welcome everybody back. I'd like to introduce myself. We have some new faces here, and maybe go around the table on the board, and then we can introduce guests. I'll start off by, my name is Benavides. I've been at Laredo since 1983. I have a history of having worked with Supplemental Studies for 35 years, and most of it here in Laredo, Texas. I retired here, stayed here.
Okay.
I've been board chair for 2.5 years. I've lost track. But I enjoy being committed to the community, and those that are here, I expect the same thing. This is not a political meeting. It's not about me. It's about us and our city and our welfare of the city. I truly believe in helping our community. I've been involved in so many different organizations and clubs and everything else. I'll be 75, God willing, next month, and I still have the energy to do all this because I believe in life. All right. So that in mind, to my right, introduce yourself, sir. What you do?
Okay, I'm Alex again, and I am a designer. I've been doing a plant for 51 years. I started in 1970. I'm a military retired. I also a state inspector for the handicap. I've done work all over the state, and I'm here to serve.
Dr. Victor Trevino, Council for the City of Laredo, and I know Mr. Rodriguez for about how many years?
That was
40 years or so.
yes, sir.
Actually, he helped the sign our house.
Dr. Trevino is the most loved man in this.
I was just gonna say, Dr. Trevino, that we see him every day, and the next gentleman also, we appreciate what you do. It's not an easy function, and we were talking about that because of attitudes of people, and that's why we're here, to change some attitudes in the city and our community. Dr. Trevino, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Richard Chamberlain, Health Director, City of Laredo, epidemiologist, sanitarian, you can go on and on, but here, the community.
Good afternoon, I'm Daniel de la Rosa. I retired from the juvenile department after 23 years. I was a victim's advocate, working with victims' rights, taking 300 cases per week, handling murder cases, aggravated sexual assault cases, you name it. Right now, I'm working at the Laredo College. Anything that I can help out with, and again, I'm here to serve the community also.
Arturo Garcia, Utilities Director. I'd like to welcome everybody here today. And excited that we're gonna start up our utility committee meetings, and we'll try to have one every month. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Mike
Hello, my
Rogers.
friend.
How are you? Welcome back. Glad
Haven't
you're
seen you in
here.
a year.
Yeah, it's been a while. Mike Rogers, the Assistant Utility Director, and yeah, I'm glad you guys are back here, and we're looking forward to having regular meetings.
And we have the Utilities Department operations side.
David representing District 8. Represent District 8. And he loves Laredo.
Mr. X.
Edward Ochoa, representing District 6. I'm a local civil engineer, and I've served on several city committees before, served on several local nonprofit organizations, currently still do, and just excited to be a part of this and to contribute in any way that I can. That's about it.
So, Ignacio Hinojosa, or Nacho, a lot of you know me here. I'm a office manager for our Ardura Engineering, and I'm from Laredo. Well, actually born in Laredo, but been here all my life. Very passionate about the city, giving back to the community in my position as a civil engineer, like Edward. Just happy to be here, present what we've been doing on the water master plan, wastewater master plan, and the water quality issues that the city of Laredo that we're working through.
You don't need much of an introduction, but go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon, I'm Riaz Ulmia. I'm the Assistant City Manager, previous Utility Director. After, like everybody loves Dr. Trevino, everybody hates me.
That's why I said that.
Hi.
Ex-city councilman?
Gene Belvades, I'm a recovering politician. I'm here representing Lockwood, Anderson, Unum, and Ardura on the integrated water and wastewater master plan.
Welcome again, everybody, and people on screen. This is a first for us, so, thank you for joining us.
So I don't know, can you guys introduce yourself real quick? Hector, Marcus?
Give it a try. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Marcus Nizer. I'm a group leader and project manager with Ardura Group. I've worked off and on for the utilities department, City of Laredo, as a consultant on water and wastewater projects since about 2001. I'm currently the project manager on the water quality assessment and optimization project that's ongoing, and look forward to hearing what y'all have to say today. Thanks for having me.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hector Pena. I'm an engineer and project manager for Ardura. I'm a Laredo born and raised, but I'm currently working out of our Houston office. So been involved in a few Laredo projects recently, and currently working on the Laredo integrated wastewater master plan.
Hi folks, Logan Burton here. I'm the water practice director for Ardura, and been very hands-on. I've actually spent quite a majority of days over the last 3 weeks in Laredo working with staff and operations on the water assessment project. So good to meet all y'all, and happy to be here.
Thank you.
Can you call a roll quick? Just informational on this roll call. 3 meetings in a row absent, and you're no longer on this committee. I will call your councilman to have you replaced with somebody else that's going to dedicate themselves. We do allow excuse, but still, it counts as one of your absences, all right?
I need the district you're talking about, right?
My district.
Guillermo Benavides Zuniga,
Exactly.
is that
Yeah.
Nick Benavides,
Absent.
Onyx Benavides,
Present.
Daniel De La Rosa,
Present?
Alex Arregui,
Yep.
Eduardo Ochoa,
Present.
Ofelia Mislian, she's absent,
Yes.
and Luis Ramirez. That's it.
Do we have any districts that have not appointed anybody?
District 1, that one is vacant.
What was that?
That's Vidal Rodriguez. No, I'm sorry, Rudy. Rudy,
Yeah.
Rudy,
This is one.
District 1.
Can you please give him a call for me and let him know that he still has to appoint somebody? We really need that person.
Chairman, I'll talk to Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay. Well, that's right, you have a different job now. I keep forgetting, last time we saw you, you were here, right? Okay. Yeah, this pandemic has really turned us upside down. Anyways, thank you. We'll open item 3 for public comments. If anybody has any public comments, I'd like to hear them. Anybody with public comments?
All right, so we'll be taking down the notes of the meeting.
We should have somebody.
No, that's what I'm asking. I have bad handwriting, but, so we could actually ask, when we talked about the meeting.
That'll be on the minutes that we have this meeting, being recorded. All right.
It's digitally recorded, and we can then write it.
Transcribe from.
Transcribe from there.
They'll-
That's what I'm saying, who's gonna be in charge of that?
Yeah.
We will return.
Okay.
But I would recommend that you make your notes on the agenda, that when you can file that and make sure you can refer back here.
Email us the minutes once we're done.
Jerry is recording it, and then once we're done, we'll get the card, and then we can.
Apologize for that, we don't have a secretary taking minutes, we have it recorded. In other words, this will be on the internet, right, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, we will go ahead and provide the recording to city secretaries, and they will post it.
Okay, just FYI, guys, pick your notes. Okay, public comments, no one making any, so that session is closed. Item 4, water master plan update.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Gene Belvades, for the record, and I'm representing Lockwood, Andrews, and Unum. We have been tasked with being your public outreach for the water and wastewater integrated master plans, working with the folks at Lafayette, Andrew Noonan, Tom Ray, who's leading that project, and Hector Pena, who you met earlier from Ardura on the wastewater side. The water side started about April, concentration about February, April of 2020, not this year, but last year. We began the acquisition of information, previous studies, modeling, master plans, things of that nature, bringing all that together. And then we began to have public input starting in February of last year. We had a quick meeting with CEAC right before we were unable to have any more of those types of meetings. And we went to virtual town halls that started in June. To date, we've had 5 virtual town halls and 2 hybrid town halls where we had both live folks and those that were attending virtually. Council members have been present at those meetings. We've had a good attendance on most of those. Probably the first hybrid at the Laredo Public Library had over 45 people in attendance. Total 25 were in person, the other 20 were online. I think Big Lou, you attended that one at the public library. We've had to date an open survey that we started in 2020 in October. To date, we have over 900 respondents, 758 who have filled out the entire survey. It's a 100-question survey about everything from customer service all the way through to water quality, future planning, willingness to pay for secondary water, and those things. Those can be found to date at laredowater.org. You can go to that website, and that survey is still live. You also have information that we're currently gathering about the system, trying to educate the public on how the system works, all the various aspects of the water and wastewater system. We are currently in the modeling phase, taking in as much information about the current active master plans, future master plans, both residential, commercial, and industrial, and then looking out into the future. We're also looking and studying at secondary water, what's available in the near proximity, as far as, and going out as far as Val Verde County, Dimmitt County, to see if there are any interest in water for the city of Laredo on secondary water there as well. Now on the wastewater side, I'll let Nacho give you, or Hector give you an update on the wastewater side where we are in the modeling.
Go ahead, Hector.
Sure, thank you, Gene. So, yeah, I won't get into what consists of the wastewater master plan, but I will go over what we have done so far, I guess, and where we are. So we started, of course, reviewing the existing facilities for the city and evaluating capacity and identify what needs to be improved in the next 50 years, right? So one of those tasks was the condition asset baseline, which is basically summarizing the existing, focusing on the linear assets and what's the life expectancy of all those assets, basically identifying the sectors that need to be replaced and when that is. And so we have identified that. We have maps that we have showed at these town halls that we've held, where it shows where and just I guess it's to put it in easy terms, it's mostly on the downtown area. That's you see it kind of if you look at a heat map that we've put together, that's where a lot of those linear assets have been identified that are the highest priority to get replaced. So we're putting together your cost estimate for all these repairs and scheduling them in the next 50 years to be integrated into the CIP plan to carry on those projects.
Hector,
another one of the tasks we've done is the wastewater production and projections. So we have that task has been also, I want to say 90% completed, because we have finalized the wastewater generation for the present, but also for the next 50 years, based on population projections and how this city is developing and growing within its ETJ, right? But we're still pending, there's still a couple items are pending, so we can finalize that task, which is just confirming population numbers, current population numbers. I mean, we all are aware of where, I guess, where the census is and how that's those numbers are being are coming in the next few weeks. So we should be able to confirm that where we are, where population projections go from there, if we need to update them. And then the other is just some flow monitoring. We're relocating some flow meters to make sure we capture all the sanitary flow coming into the existing wastewater treatment plants to confirm our numbers and see if we need to make any updates to our wastewater generation projections. So again, those two tasks have been almost completed. We're working on the writing portion of those for the report for those two tasks, and as well, and like I said, just on the CIP, on the condition asset baseline, we're just working on the cost estimation as well for those proposed projects. So more recently, in the last month, we transitioned into the next task, which is the model update. The last model update was done in I was going to say 5 years ago, but it's been 6 now since we started. The last model update was done in 2015, and so we're making updates to make sure we have the full existing system in there, and that's currently where we are, working on improving the model, getting it up to date, and then we'll go into model verification and analysis, and so we can carry on with the rest of the tasks. So that's where we are. We have updated the schedule recently where we're looking into finishing our efforts by the end of the year, perhaps going into finishing the draft report into QAQC, and then first quarter of next year we should have the report completed. But as far as having some of the data over to the city, we may be able to do so before, so we're shooting to, by the end of the year, have that information on as far as numbers go and cost for the next 50 years.
Okay. Real quick, just to add to what Gene and Hector said, a little bit, or one of the things that's different from this master plan, both on the water and wastewater, is master plans, we typically look into the future, right? What we need to do as we grow. Well, this one, we're also taking what we have in the ground today and the investment it's going to take to replace our growing pains right now, right? Our linear assets, right? So it's going to be a significant investment to replace not only the water, but the wastewater. A lot of our pipes downtown, he was referring to that, Hector, our verified clay pipe, VCP pipe, some of it is not there anymore. So it's just, we got to address that as we go, as we also prepare for the future, right? So anyways, this is just part of what we're doing there.
So what's next is that the teams will be completing their modeling, completing their cost estimation, verifying all that information, hopefully towards the tail end of the year. At that point, we will make a draft presentation to City Council through a workshop. Then from there, we'll go into public output, going out into the communities and showing what the recommendations are, what the plans are, not just for the next 50 years, but immediate stuff as well, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years out. That'll include everything from capital improvements to your water, wastewater, secondary water, alternative water sources, emergency water sources. Those are all being investigated as well, all part of that master plan that we've been tasked to present to the City Council and then ultimately to the public. And so again, our goal is to finish the modeling work, all the cost estimation sometime at the end of the year. Presentation, so we'll kind of cut off all public input at that point, and now we move into public output, making sure that the community knows what to expect in the next 50 years in terms of water rates, capital improvements, future use, future availability. Okay? And we'll entertain any questions that you all may have.
Thank you.
And you have all this in schedule with milestones?
Say that again?
You have all this is on the schedule, right, with milestones?
Yes, we do, absolutely.
That we can see? Right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, and again, if you want more detailed information, all the members of the team are available for individual conversations. Plus, there'll be additional public input meetings that will be coming up in the next couple of months. obviously with COVID, we've struggled to get people engaged. We've tried it through social media, we've done hybrids and virtual meetings, but we need to get more people acclimated to the fact that we're going to be fixing the system over the next 50 years, and we need to let them know what to expect in terms of rates, availability, so on and so forth.
One thing, if I may, the 2015 master plan, the CIP was for $600 million. So far, I think we have spent close to $300 million. I can tell you this master plan, it will be over $1 billion. And so that comes with a cost because we don't qualify for any kind of grants or anything. So it's, and those are part of the task of the consultant, and council also asked them to, maybe the developers are not paying their share, so they will come up with the impact fees. So this will be the first, I think we are developing a 50-year master plan. So the citizens and everybody can understand that water and sewer is not cheap.
So
And if we don't wanna grow, then it's fine.
Yeah,
But
I
if
was
we
just
wanna
gonna go
grow,
there. We've gone beyond that help from the government to continue forward, so we have to self-sustain. I don't think the public understands that, because I had people say, well, why don't you all apply for grants? And going, I don't think we can. But at what point did we lose that?
we lose long time ago when
Right.
the grants, I think the last grant we had, it was the disadvantaged community. So that's the only thing, because we are no longer disadvantaged communities.
We had the disadvantaged one for the Colonia areas, but that was strictly Colonias, and then the last one that actually we did get was in 2009, which was the ERA grant, and that was $48 million. That's the last grant that we have had.
And I think the public, just to continue what you're saying, is not aware that we gotta pay to play. And our rates is what pays, and so it might be something that we might wanna try and get some.
That's what I asked you, right?
That
Mr.
people
Chairman,
understand that.
to your point, and one of the questions that Mr. Ramirez had asked during one of the town halls is where we were on rates. We actually, contrary to popular belief, we are not the most expensive water in Texas. We are somewhere at that middle, bottom third, not at the very top. For communities our size, and for communities even larger than ours, for both water and wastewater. So again, when you look at rates, I think you need to look at what justification for increasing those rates. And again, we're gonna look at all aspects, looking at developer fees, impact fees, as well as staging your capital improvements in a manner which affords you an opportunity to let those rates mature, so that you don't have multiple increases down the road, but you have them, staged properly so that you can afford all the growth that you're gonna have in the next 50 years.
And
I can just tell you, Mr. Chairman, we have about 300 miles of pipes, which is probably older than 50 years. Just with that, gonna cost you $300+ million.
Yeah, and that's only on the
That's only
on the wastewater. It's we have 900 miles of pipe. Right now, 300 miles of that has a life expectancy of 10 years or less. So from here to Waco, is if we were to lay that. So that's only on the wastewater side. And the water side, we have all the other issues. Plus on top, we're working on some water quality investment on water quality, right? That we're gonna have to make. So
In the very short term.
Yeah.
yeah.
In the very
So
short term.
well,
And for general public, is they don't understand, because the El Pico, if you look at El Pico water plant, cost us $100 million. The South Florida wastewater treatment plant, so far we spent $100 and some million. The Manadas we are about to build, the loan is $52 million. So you're talking about millions of dollars, which has to come from the ratepayer, unfortunately. I mean, we are all getting very happy see if the infrastructure bills goes in. That's why we're pushing some projects. Hopefully we can have shovel-ready projects, so if that bill is passed, there will be a lot of money, so we can tap in some of those monies.
Well, I can guarantee that the town hasn't quit growing. I mean, I'm in real estate, and I drive through areas I haven't been through in 3 months, and there's 50 houses built, and every one is sold before they get built, which is crazy, right? I mean, our inventory is probably a 2 to 3 month inventory. Put a house on the market right now for 300,000 and you'll sell it at 350 cash. Where's money? Not local money, can't be, but, we as realtors don't understand where to put the price. Because it doesn't matter what the price is, there's a shortage and the demand, just like on vehicles right now. So getting back to the water master plan, South Laredo, I know we talked about what was going on there. We don't have the water, we don't have the pipe back. Have we advanced any on that? We haven't talked about it for about a year and a half.
We are progressing as far as
Okay.
and then the other thing that's gonna help is the sports complex.
Yeah.
There's projects that we're doing to extend water out there and also some, storage, elevated storage tanks, and also new boosters that we're gonna be installing in that area. So there are improvements being made for the area to, one, not only to deliver water, but also to improve quality of water, circulation, elimination of dead ends. And that's, I guess, leads to the next item, that's the water quality assessment.
Yes.
On your agenda.
If we got anything else on the water master plan?
Just so we can see the schedule, or we can look at it, so at least we know every meeting, we know where we're at, so we don't have to be asking that question.
Yeah, of course, we can share that, right? We can share the clean
And then
version.
maybe they come up with a rate, so you can show them these same cities at 300,000.
You can actually find those on LaredoWater.org.
Also, we can present to the,
Yeah,
okay.
but we'll bring those to you guys.
Yeah.
We'll share those off the website.
Because when it comes to the city council, say, hey, look, this is what we're dealing with, and they're not getting the money they're supposed to be getting.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right.
Thank you.
Item 5, water quality assessment and optimization, update.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. The water quality assessment and optimization update, as you all know, we had that boil water notice back in July. And we've addressed some of the issues and concerns, but as part of that, council authorized a water quality assessment and optimization report. And that is currently being done by our bureau. And I will just, at this time, like to turn it over to them. And Matthew, if you want to.
Yeah, real quick, do you guys wanna see the presentation that we gave to council, or do you guys wanna just?
Quick summary.
Just a quick summary, all right, so then I'll just go ahead and present, the team. So, again, Nacho Hinojosa, we were hired, by the city of Laredo to assist with these water quality, issues. Our company, we've worked together, we work with the city of Corpus Christi, Deer Park, other communities that face similar issues. And based on that experience, like I said, the city brought us on. We brought on a partner, Hayden Sawyer. They also worked hand in hand with us very proactively in the city of Corpus, and it was a great success there. We brought them on. The project manager for this project is Marcus Nizer, and I'll let him take it from here.
Thank you, Nacho. So, we're taking a source to tap approach at assessing the water quality in the distribution system, from the river through the water treatment plant all the way to the last connection at the very end of the line. And we've done a water treatment plant assessment, or both of them, El Pico and Jefferson Street, and come up with, kind of the improvements that are needed to improve quality, stabilize chloramination. That is the big item that we're looking at. This water quality event that occurred was due to nitrification, and that's associated with there being elevated levels of ammonia in the system, and these innocuous bacteria that are in everybody's water. They have the spike in population, and they basically downgrade your water quality, and your residual drops out. So that's what happened in early July, and that's happened to a lot of systems out there in Texas and across the nation who are on chloramines for their disinfectant. So we're trying to stabilize the chloramines, the chloramination from the water treatment plants, putting the water into the system so that it's stable all the way to the end, and simplify the chemical feed in the system, and basically address the near-term problems of this nitrification. But in the long term, these improvements that we're going to be making over the next year or two, our goal is to attain superior water system, classification by the state. So that's the approach, and we're currently working through it. It's been a very hectic and fast-paced and kind of a whirlwind, like Logan said, since July 26th when we were brought on board by council. But we've made some strides in assessing and coming up with where the deficiencies are, and we're working hand in hand with the utility department, operations, distribution, to bring things up to speed there to improve water quality for all the residents in Laredo. So that's a thumbnail of what we're doing. Logan, I don't know if you want to add any more to that, but please chime in.
I think you hit on the high points. Be happy to answer questions though, if there are any.
I'll open the floor for any questions. You have any questions?
Just one question, you guys keep mentioning Corpus Christi, but the growth is real slow compared to Laredo. Like Onyx saying, we're going real fast, so you are taking that into account, right?
Yes, we are. And the connection there to Corpus Christi wasn't really with respect to the growth, but it was the issue of the water quality itself. It's that nitrification issue. And they had very similar excursion in water quality, I guess, in 2016. It was a nitrification event, and we're able to work with their treatment plants and also with their storage and in their distribution system to come up with improvements that have stabilized that and address the issue there and improve water quality and stabilize it. So some of those same things can be applied because there's a lot of similarities. They have surface water treatment plant in Corpus Christi, just like y'all do. They got the Nueces River, y'all got the Rio Grande. And the systems have many similar aspects. So that was kind of the connection there.
Yeah, and I'll just add that I believe the question was probably coming from in regards to growth, where that is really, I guess, an issue is on the master plan. So that would be, I guess we are talking two different projects here. Growth is not really tied to the water quality issue that we're discussing here. But it certainly is tied to the master plans, the water and wastewater master plans.
Correct, yeah, I just wanted to say that because we keep growing and plans keep going, so it's gonna affect your master plan. So I was just saying, we're taking that consideration, talking to utilities, looping and all those things that we're doing now. So just to let these guys know how it is on the field.
What will be? Support will be.
And this is this is a very hands-on approach. I mean, Arturo can attest to this. Like we're here on the ground.
Oh yeah, me too.
So no. But them, they weren't able to join because it was kind of short notice. But they've been here for the past 6 weeks. Every other week, they're 3-4 days at a time. They've been here. We work with the operators hand in hand because, when we leave in some sort of sense, they're going to be there, and we want to prepare them, give them the tools and the knowledge to be operators, right? To deliver water to me, to my kids, to
yeah, but my concern is just the growth, that we're doing everything correctly so it doesn't affect your master plan. Not be like, we should have told these guys a year ago, and that's what we're looking at. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
At the current work, because all the developers are putting in the money to get whatever they need. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah.
With part of your master plan.
But I think Nacho and Arturo, Dr. Trevino is here. He was asked by the council. So if you guys can give a timeline, see, after Wastewater, this is what we have done so far to help the public health, because that's why he's here. We want to know because I'm sure he's going to be asked by council. So just tell him what have we done to make sure the public health is never jeopardized.
So Marcus, you want to go over those sort of buckets that we lumped all these recommendations in, and the timeframes, right? We have timeframes, and he'll speak more to this, but we had immediate actions, which from the day we were brought on, 0 to 60 days, was it, Marcus, right? 0 to 60 days?
Yeah.
And then 2 to 4 months, and then long-term 2 years. So he's gonna go over that right now, but cover more in depth, but that's kind of the approach. We had immediate needs that needed to be, addressed for when we turned over to chloramine disinfection, because we are free chlorine, right? So before we turned over on September 1st, we had recommendations and some improvements that were made at the plants and in the distribution system. But anyways, I'll pass it over.
One question, Arturo, once these guys are done, who's gonna be spearheading all their work and checking, in the city? You know, like they said, in 2 years they'll be done and they'll be taking out who would be.
Well, we're gonna have systems in place, automation, to where we're monitoring more rigorously. And we'll be also having SOPs, standard operating procedures in place, new operating procedures, based on the recommendations and the technical memorandums that are gonna be issued. At each level that they're giving us memorandums, we're implementing new policies.
Okay, cool.
And also in educating and training the staff. And one of my goals is to make sure that the new operators that we bring in develop their skill sets. Higher skill sets, because there's more automation, so that the triggers, our notification action plan is being updated based on the values that we're getting, the reports that we're getting, so that we can respond faster. And also the results on the monitoring, we get immediate response, not wait 24 hours or 48 hours. So the plan is being set up, and it'll be automated to where you'll be able to see, and we'll get little flags or triggers where we have to go out there and respond to quality issues that we have, whether it's low chlorine residual, taste and odor issues. We go out there, send the crews, they flush whatever they need to do, or we do more detailed analysis to check your nitrite and nitrates to see if there's nitration occurring. And then regarding the conversion to free chlorine, we may do longer periods. Before in the past, we were doing 7-day, 15-day conversions only. They have to be 30 days minimum. This last one that we did was for 60 days. So that allows that chlorine to get in there into those biofilms and that's inside the pipes, so that you get a good disinfection of your system. Because if you do it too short, you don't let it penetrate. So that's what we've done. And then the flushing takes what you've destroyed or killed, you flush it out of your system, so those organics are gone. So that's what we've done, and that's what we'll continue to do.
What was the sum of the cost you have identified? I know we went, some of you, if you see civil service, we went very detailed on the civil service because we had some disciplinary action. So maybe you can tell the committee, these are the things we found are some of the causes. We had council did hire a law firm to look at it, if there's who is to fault, so the council is going their own investigation. But what you have found so far?
Just to give you a summary of what, during the civil service, one of the issues that I came across is when we went through the process, our distribution staff, when we got notice of the residuals that were coming out low, we kept going out there, we kept flushing, it would raise up, but then it would drop back down. We said, where is it coming from? What's it causing it? Well, when we went to monitor, I started taking analysis of the pipe as we get closer to the plant. What I noticed is that residual was low. Because typically, as you leave the plant, you should have a good residual, because it's just fresh, just fresh coming out of the plant. But it was low, because the age of our system, we already know how old it is, we know what the character of our system is. We need to maintain a residual at a certain level, so that it can make it to the 800 miles of pipe that we have.
Yes, so I can touch on the types of recommendations that we're coming up with our assessments, and also the implementation timelines to speak with what you said, Ria. So, you know, we've gone through the treatment plants and done the assessments and come up with several recommendations. And those are falling into, you know, about 5 different buckets that we are using, and we prioritize those. You know, there's over 80 recommendations that we identified. Some of those recommendations are to do more studies to dig deeper from that surface level assessment. However, you know, the first bucket that we're looking at are updating the chemical feed targets at the treatment plants, and modifying dosing locations there, and also providing additional training for operations. So the main goal, again, with this nitrification issue is to create stable chloramines that you're putting into the system, and not allowing additional ammonia to go out there and start that nitrification event which occurred. So that's one bucket, and those are, you know, some of those recommendations are near-term recommendations that we've already accomplished. We spent all week with TCEQ and operations the week of September 1st when they converted back to chloramines, and we discussed the new feed points, the sampling points, and the triggers that the operators need to meet as far as the specification of the water that they put into the system. So those were near-term recommendations. Another bucket of recommendations that we're working on is additional manual and automatic sampling at the treatment plant and in the system. So that sampling is needed to be able to respond quickly to changes in water quality, and this allows operations to respond quickly and adjust their chemical dosages, again, to maintain that stable disinfectant going into the system. Another grouping of recommendations that we've come up with is supplemental studies. We're seeing some low-hanging fruit, some things that could be done at the water treatment plants to improve treatment. One of the areas that we're going to be studying is we're studying the disinfection through the plant, the CT study, to determine if we can add a chlorine dioxide disinfectant to that process, which will reduce the chlorine demand in the plant, but also it's an aid in stabilizing and creating stable monochloramines for the system. Also we're going to be studying the caustic system to get it up and running again. Caustic allows you to adjust pH, and there's some desirable pHs that you want that also helps you stabilize the disinfectants, and right now they're not able to increase the pH because they don't have caustic in place at either plant. So that's another study. Another grouping of recommendations that we're following through on, of course, when we have enacted some of these improvements and have collected enough information from the new sampling and monitoring that we're doing, we want to trend that data. First of all, we want to take it to a dashboard, a water quality dashboard that allows the whole group to monitor these things as quickly as possible so they can see changes out there and react. But ultimately, we want to trend that data and profile it and come up with triggers that we can look for so operations can react quickly. And we put that into a nitrification action plan, and they'll be monitoring such things as total residual out there, the monochloramine, the free available ammonia, and nitrites, and they'll look at these 3 trigger points, or 4, and they'll make decisions and take action based on, if they're getting into kind of the danger zone, if approaching nitrification, so they can be proactive and address that before it becomes actual nitrification and basically leads to going back to a free chlorination conversion, or even worse, a bull water notice like that was in July. And then the last bucket of recommendations, these are a little more serious projects that are going to take more budget and more time. These have time frames of 1 to 2 years, and some of the things that we're looking at there is to be able to install chlorine dioxide at the plants. Another one we're looking at, which will require a study, is the optimization of the recycle system at El Pico Water Treatment Plant, which looks like it could improve water quality through that plant. So that's just a sampling of some of the types of recommendations and timetables that we have. So we prioritize those. We have some that are near term that we've already accomplished, but we can accomplish in the weeks ahead. Then we have other ones that are 4 to 6 months out, like these additional online analyzers to monitor water quality. And then we have the 1 to 2 year capital improvement projects that are eventually going to get us probably, closer to that superior water system classification. So I think that's what Rio was looking for in the explanation, and a little bit deeper dive. But that's what we are doing. We're developing these recommendations, and we're coming up with plans to implement them to improve the overall water quality.
Thank you, Marcus.
Well, the only question I have is that you guys are very educated in what you're talking about. I'm not, and it's kind of hard to report to the city council member what you guys are doing. So all I would like to have is for us is the scheduling, and we're hitting the targets, and what each target's it's gonna benefit us in the city. Because to tell them everything that you tell them right now, it's not it's not good for us, I mean.
I was gonna recommend that we get, read the digest, to all the board members, so we can see what our councilman and go through that.
Yeah, that's the best thing.
More in-depth stuff will be done to you.
So when we sit here the next meeting, oh, we hit this target and we're gonna do this now. So with everything that you're saying right now, it's good for the guys who actually do this and for us. who
There are weekly
we're just-
reports, right?
Yeah.
That we're actually giving weekly reports as to what we're doing, and then every target that we've set, and if we've met or not. And if it's changed, there's a reason why we shift focuses and we report.
That's what I'm
that,
saying, for us,
Yeah,
all we
yeah.
need is a schedule, that what
maybe-
target dates, your milestones.
We'll include the targets met
That's
on
it.
both the
Yeah.
master plan and the optimization.
Got it.
And we'll give you those, and we'll, at every meeting, we'll
That's
have
it.
that.
Because then we'll meet with our city council, go, look, this is where, or they didn't do it because of this reason, and that's all we need to report.
I like
But talking like.
email format to me, I don't know about the rest.
Well, to everybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, email format, that way I can just forward it to my councilman, and says, this is where we're at, got any questions, or, you know.
'Cause that's
And
really-
I'd
that's all
also
we're
like to
doing, right?
bring up to the board is that we can't have a quorum of the city council members, so that if somebody wants to invite somebody, let staff know. And, I think I invited my councilman one time, he was very positive, and then COVID hit. So, I'd like to do that, to bring one or two councilmen, to our meetings, so, you know, let people know if you wants to come and get an idea of what we do. Because ultimately, we're gonna need their support for any recommendations we make, we need to get their support, and if they don't get the full skinny on it, then they'll be kind of apprehensive and table it, and then we don't have no power. We don't advance ourselves what we're trying to do. I think everybody here has a good understanding of why we're here, and that's to promote the city, right? And, but we can't do it ourselves, we need the councilmen to support it.
And just like the committee member says, we need to be educated,
Yeah,
in order
yes.
for us to oppose them and say,
Yeah.
this is what we're on now. And like you say, we all know what you're all saying, but I'm in the same page that he is. So I need something in black and white and say, oh, okay, now I get you, what you're saying, what project you, so to me, something in black and white.
And we can get all kinds of reports and everything else, and yeah, we walk out of here and it's, wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, so all we need is we hired these guys, these are their milestones, they're hitting it, they're not hitting it, or you know what, an issue came up, Mr. Garcia
Good
needs
point,
this.
good point.
That's it.
I like it.
Because they go into the city council meetings not knowing what these guys are going through, and we're here to educate them, hey, this is what's going
Yeah,
through.
the city beats them up and, well, before announced our food on.
He introduced me to a term that he uses a lot, la piñata.
Mr. Chairman, if I may though,
Yes.
your council members, for the appointees, your council members are receiving updates in their Friday packs that come out from the team. And again, we try to make those as layman terms as possible for them to understand. Obviously, you know, not all of them are engineers that have Marcus's and Logan's and everyone's depth of knowledge, but we try to make those as simple as possible for folks, for the common individual to understand it. Like myself, I'm not an engineer, so when I'm producing these items for the council members, it's so that I can read them and understand what's being done at the council, at the plant level and at the distribution side. So they are getting those, but what we might do at your request, we might send them to the committee members as well, so that you guys could have them, so you have great conversation with your council members on the items that are being worked on, along the timelines and along the required task orders from the city.
Okay, I'd like to add one more thing under the water quality and give you all, and you board members, an idea of what has transpired in the past, I guess, 2.5, 3 years. We were actually joined to be the secondary water source committee. And I bring this up because if any board member has a discord or discontent of what's going on here, don't run to the city council with it, please. Bring it to this board, let us hash it out. I appreciate all your questions, believe me, we don't need to sit here and like bump on a log, because we need to be informed. But we had a board member that ran to the city council and had us not be able to talk about secondary water source. Because he had a red butt about it, and he didn't like what we were doing, or he wanted to be able to show some power. So they changed it to what, the utility commission, which is better, because now we can talk about all of it, see? Well, before, we were just here to talk about water, and the secondary water source, and that was it, not new subdivision or anything else. So now we've got a little bit more power than we had before, and I went and thanked him, but he didn't realize why I was thanking him. He was no longer on the board, thank God. But we need to be united in what we do, all right? And the reason we need to be united is because we need our councilman's vote to pass the things that we want to pass. And if we're not united, and if one of us runs over there and gets something changed or that we can't speak about, you just destroyed all the time we spent. And, I've been here because nobody's voted me out. I mean, if somebody wants to take over, be my guest, right? I don't have a problem with that. I'm a board member. But we all have to stay united. And if you have an issue that you feel needs to be brought out, get it on the agenda. I like to run a clean meeting. Right now, we're kind of stepping through this. It's our first meeting. But if you have an issue that needs to be brought up, bring it to staff. And staff will put it on the agenda, and then we can speak freely with, and we may have to make a motion and vote on anything else. If it's not on the agenda, we can talk about it all we want, and then we can't motion, all right? Robert's rule of order apply here, very much so. And we do need a quorum, so, I know the staff, can you be here this day, can you be here that day? And that's very difficult, because if I know that our meeting's the second Tuesday, Wednesday, or whatever it is of the week, every month, then I can schedule myself. But when all of us have a different schedule, and we can't adhere to one date, then staff it's a whirlwind. Why? Because I can't make it, I'm going out of town. I'm going on vacation, or, my grandkids came in, I'm gonna be with them. You committed to come here for 1 hour, an hour and a half, once a month, and do what we gotta do. And if we need to have a special meeting, I'll call for one. But the bottom line is, we need to work, make sure the staff know that, what is our regular meeting date? Do we have one?
I'd like to make it this Thursday, and repeat it every month, so
That's right.
that works for you.
It worked this one,
The
right?
third Thursday of every month?
We're the third Thursday?
I'd like to, put in my 2 cents.
Hold on, let's finish one.
Yeah, but, okay, I'm waiting for it.
So, everybody okay with
It could be the second, or it could be whatever Thursday.
I'd rather do
you
the
want.
second Thursday versus the
We
first?
tried last week, it
Yeah.
didn't get posted properly, that's why I got moved to the third,
Yeah,
but.
because you start the month out, you start scheduling things, and so now you can block off your calendar. The meeting's actually 12 to 1, we're usually here beyond that.
Second Thursday is
And,
official.
Alex, they could log on Microsoft Team and say
Yeah.
they can't come here, they could.
Yeah, same way, yeah,
And also, we could tell those other members that we.
right.
Yeah, but they
Okay.
cannot vote.
They can't.
They don't vote, they're
Open
just
Meeting Act?
information.
Oh, okay.
The board, the only ones that vote is the board. That's why I made the
No, I'm
comment.
talking about the committee members who can't show up, personally can't.
Well,
Right.
if-
They,
if
they can participate, but they cannot vote.
They can't vote, they have to be present, that's what I'm saying.
When they come for the
So,
form.
so it really wouldn't make a quorum.
So they don't need to get
Oh,
it.
President.
You can be physically present starting September first of this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
You can be virtually, but
But
you will not be
you're
allowed
not
to
gonna be able
vote.
to walk.
And you're not gonna count as a president, because
Yeah.
that's the governor's order.
Okay.
And remember, there is an ordinance that says, is it 3 meetings in a row?
Important now.
Arturo, is it 3 meetings in a row or 3 meetings in a year?
I thought it was 3 a year.
In a year.
Three
It's
in
not
a year,
it's not
right?
in a
3 in a
row.
year, so it's not in a row, so
It's not
3 in a
in a
year.
3 a year.
Okay.
You can't
So
be
we're
absent
all
on
out.
3 years, you're gone.
Yeah, so we're all out.
No, I make them, man.
This is January.
My schedule is unknown. I get phone calls and I gotta go, right? I gotta go sell somewhere in the state of Texas. So, but I do make this one, all right? I don't think I've ever missed a meeting. Maybe one. I think when I had a heart attack or something like that. But
Mr.
anyhow.
Chairman?
Yes,
If I
sir.
can be recognized. Dr. Trevino is here regarding the optimization and water quality assessment.
Okay.
I don't know if Dr. Trevino, you wanna, something that we need to be able to bring at the next meeting, issues or concerns you may have?
Yes, I think it was a good idea for you to say that we need to look at the milestones. We also need to have that report because we can't explain everything that's been explained here, but we have to know what the items are. And when we are asked at the city council, we need to know exactly what was discussed and what's being worked on. So we can have a list of those milestones you're gonna have, that'd be great for us. And we deal with COVID, we deal with infection, that's what we do. But it is part of the health authority role to look at water quality and assist if possible. And of course, we have to look at the end result of what water quality does. If there's outbreaks of contamination and disease, we have to be on top of that. So the health department and myself actually look at the end result. But we can know what's going on to see if there's anything that we can help in between.
Dr. Three, do we have an emergency plan in case that does happen? That's one thing I like, in case there's a spillage in Rio Grande, no water, how much water do you have left? And what is the plan? I don't know, we have that in place.
We've developed a plan that we can have as a discussion in the future.
Cool.
Yeah, one of my biggest fears is the chemical spill on Columbia Bridge, and all our plants are down. It's down.
Exactly, so what is the emergency plan?
Buy water quickly.
No, but that's what I'm saying, but.
No, I'm just being.
I don't wanna figure out that day that it happened.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Yes.
as part of the 50-year integrated water or wastewater master plan, that is one of the items that's being considered. Not just secondary water, which is a long-term, where do you get additional water to supplement what you have on the Rio Grande, but an emergency water source. What happens if the Rio Grande is contaminated and I need to produce water? How much water do you have? How long will it last? If we do rationing, how long will that go out? That's all gonna be part of that 50-year master plan.
Well, the emergency one is one that we do need.
And there's one already in place,
That's
so
what
just
I'm saying,
basically
Because, I mean,
updating that.
we have brilliant minds at the federal and state levels where they make all hazmat go above our water source, right? So maybe we start pushing the council to build that bridge further south and pass all the hazmat that way. But again, it's like walking around with a hand grenade, hope somebody don't pull a pin. But what I'm getting at is that we all have ideas. I know my friend always has good ideas here. Second up to you for Alex. But
Thank you.
what I really just want to make sure that we're all on the same page, period, all right? We can't walk out here going, they didn't do what I wanted, because it's not what I want, it's what this community needs, all right? I could want cheaper rates, but I'm not gonna get them, don't spend so much water. But bottom line, I appreciate you guys being here, Doctor and Richard. I know we see you guys, I feel like I've known you all my life. And I know that you have a target on your back, as Arturo and Mia, anybody with utilities, I was asked already, what are you even there? You don't do nothing. And I go, well, we seem to be rolling, and then COVID hit, and then we couldn't get out of houses because we didn't want to die. But give us a chance to get restarted, and I know that the city continues to improve, they keep continuing doing what they have to do to provide us potable water, bottom line. And so, but yeah, when you hear water boil notice, it's not good. And then you don't know what plant's affected, and I think that we need to develop that where we say, everybody on the Pico, you're fine, or everybody on the south, you're in bad shape. No, not, this block here only, and all of a sudden half the town, and then next thing you know is the whole town, and Sam's can't bring in enough water for everybody to buy bottled water, so now I keep 10 cases at the house all the time. I never did before.
But this is in every city. I mean, when we had that problem here, Catula got lightning struck and they had the same problem. So it's also, it's also education.
Yes.
We keep educating our citizens, and they like it or not, but just keep them informed, not be quiet about it.
That's right. I think that we avoid the black eye when we get a.
It's like they say, answer the phone if it's good or bad, but answer it.
Answer it, yeah.
I mean,
So.
it's gonna come around anyways.
Richard, anything, words of wisdom?
No, I mean, what I was just thinking about on water quality, of course, as we continue to move forward into the future, and what strikes me is on resistance. And so within, of course, the antimicrobial bacterial world of resistance, it's just something that my mind comes to, because superbugs are something that are being created, of course, within our hospital structures, but then also that goes into our water supply, and then, of course, overall, how that is going to be affected in the long run as we keep the current infrastructure that we do have. Of course, there's always multiple others, but that was just something that I was thinking in the long run.
Underwater?
It's just information that I have been working on underground water system. This system saves 50% of the water use. Basically, when you water overhead, they say you lose 50% of that water to evaporation. This system eliminates that 50%. There's no water runoff, and there's no wind blowing away. And it also, for big irrigation, I can use salt water with this underground water system. But I'd like to set up a
presentation?
yes, to
To get
bring
up to
pictures
speed.
and stuff.
Alex is always trying to figure out how to optimize the use of water. And he's got a very valid point, we were talking about a while ago. Drip irrigation, especially if your pipes are underground, you're not gonna lose any, very little to evaporation compared to sprinkler systems. And running down the road, I jog every day, you'd think it would rain every day because I run through water. But, the bottom line is, he's got some very good ideas, is to develop a way that is cost effective for the homeowner to be able to do this at the beginning of, before they put a yard in. Then maybe the city might, I don't know if we could ever find a grant for people to do that, but
Also, Gato used 2.7 million gallons in
he
one
wouldn't
year.
afford it.
And
No, we need him. We need
Yeah.
him.
yeah, I know. But he's a user.
No, we need him, he's got the money, we need it to build
Right.
lines. We're in the water selling business, folks, okay?
Yeah.
We're in the water selling
No, he said
business.
no politics.
And really, when we say don't use water, then we can't build lines, all right? So we're in the water selling business. What we're trying to do is make a better profit at it, okay? And maybe that's the way we should say it, right? So, we're not here to say, no, we don't want you to use water, no, use it.
Mr. Chairman?
But look,
Yeah.
yeah, I
He
understand
doesn't,
money.
he can afford it.
I know, but let me explain to you.
I know.
You also need water,
I know.
right? Because the city is growing.
Okay, there's secondary water sources to the north of us and to the east of us that we have not tapped into because we don't know how to use it, all right? And if we had a plan where we bring in 10 billion gallons and we sell 90% of it and use 10, and he can agree with that, to other communities, maybe we could go ahead and get it. But if we go buy $10 billion worth of water and park it there, then we can't justify it. Am I right? Gotta go somewhere. We just can't say, and the water seller is not gonna pipe that water to the end of that cap and says, okay, well, when you use it, pay me. No, it's gotta come out of that end of that pipe. That's why we use the river. It's a never ending flowing, but climate change, I'm afraid. If that thing dries down to a trickle, where are we gonna get our water? We have all the surface rights we want, but no water in the surface.
Yeah, 'cause sometimes you just walk.
Exactly. I've been there, buddy. Hey, I've been there.
Not too much water, though.
All right. So if we collectively, and through the engineers and the advisors and everybody else, can come to an understanding that if we get into the water selling business, not just to our citizens, but to Mirando, who's got arsenic, and Hebbronville's got arsenic, and all these other towns, run pipes out there, and they'll help build the pipes. As long as we buy the water.
Mr. Chairman, can I?
Yes.
bring the committee up?
I see you ready to blow up, buddy. Go ahead.
We had just reported to council, this was through, they had asked to look at irrigation, and water conservation, and particularly identify the industrial areas. If you've driven by a few of them, there's some very nice, St. Augustine grass out there on a few of those places. We looked at who was using the most amount of water, and those places, in some of them, we almost want them to have the water for free because it's in low consumption areas. If they don't use it, I have to flush the water.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of balance this. Where do I want to have conservation? It may not be where you think. And to your point about having water conservation or irrigation, the environmental committee, thought about, well, maybe irrigation rates should be higher, and that would get water conservation and force better ideas. But some areas we've talked about, we're gonna ask a homeowner, could we give you a meter? Could you use more water here? You think about that, because it will help us I'm just flushing it at the end of the street.
And I was going there because the problem that we have in a lot of these places is the water stops here and there's no flow because the people can't afford water. And we go out there and I've seen the water run down the road you know, run down the road all day to flush that line out because the people are not using that water. So it's gotta be a happy medium there,
So
something.
in this case, water conservation comes after big bucks.
Yeah.
Don't you know?
No, I think there's a
Not-
balance.
not-
There's
no,
a balance,
but
right?
You got areas right now,
Okay,
let me
okay.
talk, please, you got areas that don't have water, right? They run out of water. California, in Texas.
Well, yeah, that's California.
Yeah,
That's-
okay,
They're running
yeah.
out of everything.
Thank you.
But
That's what I wanna say.
So-
He's a conservation.
So
right?
to his point, other communities are not blessed with what we're blessed with
Exactly.
Rio Grande.
Exactly.
Just
I
like Rio
understand
Grande.
now.
You go to
I
El
get the
Paso,
big picture,
yeah, exactly, no,
okay,
you're
I
right.
got it.
El Paso.
You don't need to
Items for next meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're talking about
Okay,
something else other than.
let's move on. This gets passionate, okay, and I understand.
We're all passionate, but we don't have time to.
Okay, items for next meeting, at the moment, I don't have anything in my mind that I want to be talking about except for secondary water source for sure.
What we talked about was to see a milestone.
Yeah.
To see the emergency plan.
You want to see a
And also to see
presentation?
how these guys want to
Okay.
get informed for the city.
Okay, we'll get a presentation going on milestones and everything else and what we're doing, what's been accomplished in a year and a half we haven't been here, or a year really, a little over a year we haven't met. But the bottom line is, anything that maybe your councilman wants to talk about, call staff and you'll put it on the agenda.
And I think secondary water source should be in every meeting because
Yeah.
that's
No,
20
no.
years down the line where.
No, we've had people give us presentation after presentation
No, but
after
to see what-
presentation. Yeah, no, but we can't forget about it, no,
I mean, it's been around since the days of Larry Lolanino, you know?
Right, yeah, yeah.
I mean, you
But
guys,
if
the
we,
city's.
this is my fear. If we don't get it, somebody else is, and then we want to go buy it at a premium. And that we should be selling it at a premium.
I'm just gonna say that's one of the most important, I mean, out of everything that's going
No,
on,
well,
we
yeah,
can have the best
I
system
agree.
in the world.
I agree.
And then we don't have any water?
Yeah.
So here you are, no water into the future, right? 20% is the available fresh water for us, okay? 80% is for irrigation, but 80% lose 40% to evaporation,
Yeah.
okay?
And that's
Where
the
does that go?
point.
Up there. Well, you can harden that by using underground, and that 40% that they use will only be down
So
to.
next time you show up, come up with some paperwork.
So you have to balance, you
Because,
know?
that's what I'm saying.
In some places you need it bad,
Yeah.
and here we don't.
So back up with paperwork will help us out on
Yeah.
research. Because you have it all in your head, but we don't have it in front of our
Well,
eyes.
I've done a lot of experience, 6 years been doing this, entiendes?
Anybody else?
It's about just to follow what we talked about.
Okay. And I need a motion to adjourn.
October 14th will be your next meeting.
October 14th, Tuesday, 10:75.
That's,
We'll
because y'all
celebrate.
agree the second
The
Thursday.
second Thursday, yeah.
Bring it in my.
Yeah.
Or you say if I was something.
Okay, October 14th,
So we're gonna present to
12
council.
noon. I'll call you for your lunchbox.
Yeah.
Make sure order what you want. Right?
Send them all the existing presentations.
Do I need to have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion.
Like
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We adjourn at 1:17.
No, no.